All right, so why don't you guys introduce yourselves, your names, and what movie you were with?
I'm Eric Swiz, director and co-producer for Book.
I'm Roger Casey, writer and co-producer for Book.
Where do I even start with your movie? So, first of all, I just want to say that I love the book effect itself. Like, that build was pretty cool.
Thank you.
So that was a nice construct right there. So, I mean, I can kind of imagine the idea for the movie, but why don't you just tell me a little bit about how the movie came about and the inspiration behind it?
It was originally an idea that was supposed to be a part of a 12-movie horror anthology with 12 different styles of thrillers. But then Swiz and I had a great conversation at the beginning of the process, and we talked a lot about our love of B-movies and our love of horror films and our love of thrillers and our love of camp, and the way that we can think about fusing those all together into one sort of thing without sort of making fun of either of the types. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, especially for a genre like horror, it always kind of walks the line of comedy as it is, so it's really fun to play in both of those worlds and be both and also neither at the same time. So we had a lot of conversations about that tone for a long time, even before we shot the film. Yeah, like we were for like a 2-day shoot. We talked about it for a long time. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I really love the script. As soon as Roger said it to me, we talked about it, and we were talking a lot too about just trying to have return to a sense of fun when it comes to our movie making, because we had both come from places of being kind of discouraged or a little bit, I don't know, beaten down by the other freelance stuff we were doing. So we're like, let's just get our favorite people together, have some fun for a few days, and hopefully it resonates with people, which thankfully it seems to be doing.
Very, very cool. So I do a very quick story about this. Now, I had mentioned earlier, I know a lot of you weren't here, that I watched every film that was submitted, but I was not involved in the judging process, just to avoid any sort of conflict of interest or anything like that. But when I watched the film, I emailed Eric and I said, there's that one scene where the actors fall and they have the green screen masks on. Did you just not catch that? And maybe you submitted an older version of the film, and tell me what you said.
I said this is the most popular question we've had for the but it means I think we're doing something right. I mean, it's funny because the original plan was to VFX out the shot, like all the others. But VFX costs money. But also, no, we did a lot of test screenings together with folks in New York where we live. And it consistently got the biggest laugh. And we're like, we were talking about, I mean, the idea of spoofing, we were talking about the idea of spoofs for a long time, whether it's Scary Movie or like Airplane or Hot Shots Part 2, like my favorite. We even had a couple takes in there where, where the boom mic dips into the shot. But it was sort of, it just felt right. I don't know. It was one of those things where neither of us, I think, one of those happy accidents, I guess.
Yeah, we were already trying to include a lot of camp and different, obviously a particular tone in the piece. So when we were watching the dailies after we shot it, we done the first set of plates, for the heads being exploded, and then we looked at the second one, and it was kind of funny that the green was still there. And the other thing is the actor who plays the actor Pete who plays it. He had such a great, and it was directed by Swiz, but he had such a great crawl over the body, over the thing. We were like, people have to see that with the heads, as bare bones as it is. It felt like it was part of the story. So that's why we tried to include it.
Yeah, no, totally shouts out to Peter Kendall, the actor of that. And his character is so fun because he's just so good at playing a dumb guy. But like as an instrument in the film, like he gives the audience like their permission to laugh. I think because we kind of set it up for like we don't know if this is just a bad movie or these bad actors. But he plays a dumb guy so well that we just had to keep it.
Very, very cool. All right, any questions from the audience? Because I'll go all night. Yeah, Sarah?
Well, it's not necessarily a question, but just a comment as to the green heads is like having done a ton of horror and people not understanding how stupid it looks behind the scenes. I genuinely appreciated it. I loved it. And I appreciate that you decided to keep it because more people don't understand how absurd it looks behind the scenes when you're actually filming it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, even like the facial prosthetics we're doing by Chelsea Page, our VFX artist. Those actors were completely blind for the entire time they had the facial prosthetics on, and we were leading them up these dangerously steep stairs, and they have to trust us into just having literally no vision for the better part of 2 hours. But to like piggyback on that, and one take on the face rip, which was we didn't have a background, it's gonna get right. But yeah, and also, I mean, when we were talking about like director statements or like when people talk to me about the artistry, whatever, we talked a lot too about like what a B horror film looks like in the 21st century, like in digital cinema. Back in the day, people were making Troll 2 or whatever. They weren't expecting to make the worst film of all time. Everyone thinks they're in a good movie until they're in the theater and be like, oh fuck. So that was kind of the idea. It's like, let's make it look, I don't know, let's see what that looks like.
It was part of including the pumpkins and having them explode in the script. It was like, we may not have a budget for like a $50,000 explosion shot, but maybe we can blow up a pumpkin or a camera and a rig and like everything that's necessary, and cops to be around to make sure the explosion isn't dangerous. But maybe we can pop a pumpkin.
Yeah, popping the pumpkins was fun. We hired a explosives expert, which I've always wanted to do. His name is Waldo. Like, go figure.
We got stranded on the way to the explosion.
Oh my god, yeah. No, it was a whole day. But no, he rigged up this air cannon to blow up the pumpkins. So that was me like the night before hollowing out like 14 pumpkins by myself and filling them with blood. So it was a labor of love for the silliness of those 7 minutes.
Well, it pays off, it really does. And I'm not gonna lie, so, when you watch like 135 movies, like, so when I watched yours, I had watched like a whole bunch of serious movies, like right before it. And I watched it and I'm like, I don't fucking get it. Like, what's with the pumpkins?
You and my parents got along really well.
But then I watched it again, fresh, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like, I get it. They couldn't afford to blow up someone's head, so they blew up a pumpkin. Nice! I love it. I love it. Yes, sir.
The girl, when she first is warning against opening the book, she makes a comment like, don't open this unless you're really going to take it seriously. Did you guys have a premise for someone coming along who was going to take it seriously and not get blown up?
No, the premise is that anyone who opens the book blows up. We've toyed with. She wrote the book. There are a lot of different theories. Yeah, I can't give away these secrets. I apologize. The conceit is that if you open the book, it kind of shows you everything that makes your head explode. All of your deepest fears, everything dark, everything inside of you, and yeah, exactly.
She said, unless you take it seriously, she was just kind of.
Well, it was one of those things where it's like, her friend maybe has like a terrible ex-boyfriend that she really just hates, and she's like, I just want to get rid of him. He's like so stupid. He eats all my fruit roll-ups and stuff. And then so she's like, yeah, it's high school ish, right? And then so she's like, I got the perfect thing. And she's like, I got the book, like here it is. And she's like, but the thing is also, the power of the book is that it kind of like, which is why the guy in the end gets really stupid, is because the power of the book is that it kind of takes over your world, kind of like like the Ring, or like if you're, when you see the Ring, you're like, everything kind of, your world changes. So we kind of took that a little bit and tried to parry it on top of that.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations about the internal logic of the book and how I talked to the actors about
internal logic?
I told them each like different things about what the book was, what it was coming from. Yeah. But the general conceit was that the book made you stupid. Like, it had an aura of stupidness like the Ring that just made us like, oh, I gotta read it. So we had a lot of fun into it. But like, yeah, we never really pinned down what it was. And that's kind of the fun of the film, I think, is that it doesn't make sense and it can be whatever you want it to be. But for the actors specifically, I just like fucking with them. Yeah.
Very cool. I think we have time for one more. I think George, you had a question.
My question was, I love the evil book, and I thought it the same thing that I thought it started out as like a revenge movie. But then when she hit the book in like wide open location, I was like, oh,
No one will ever find it here.
It kind of was a revenge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
When the people who were doing the revenge are kind of stupid.
exactly. No, I mean, we had a lot of conversations about that too, about like, we didn't tell anyone for the long time that it was a comedy film. We told everyone that it was a straight horror film. So like, they show up and they're like, what the fuck is going on? But it's interesting that the first head explosion happens about halfway through the film. Because we knew, like, it was a conversation between us, like, when we give the game away. Because once we do that, the gig is up, and we're off to the races to finish the movie. Once, it's really funny watching an audience too, because, we finished this, we shot it in 2018, so it's been a while. We finished it in 2020, so we're just now getting to, like, see it with an audience. So getting to, like, feel the energy from the audience, and thank you everyone for tuning out, honestly. Really, really excited to be here. Thank you very much. It's really such a treat to experience it with the crowd, because, yeah, there's that feeling of, like, once the laughter starts trickling in, once people are like, oh, it's okay, it's not bad. I can laugh at this, yeah, it's not awful, thank God. So because I think in the script it was under like a flower, or it's under like a plant. Yeah, exactly.
It's supposed to be really obvious to like let the audience know it's time.
So between that and like the character of Peter, who's basically the explicit permission for the audience to laugh, it's really fun seeing that turn. So thank you for picking up on that.
All right, how about another round of applause for these guys? I love your movie. I live for movies like this. I really do. So I thought it was very, very appreciated. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Thanks, man.
All right.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gotta show the